आज
I'm
प्रेमा
going,
की नहीं
with
है,
your
प्रेमा
permission, I am going to mute everyone.
आज
So
प्रेमा की नहीं आया क्या?
I have muted everybody, and I have taken permission from Ms. Bhavani Swaminathan also, because I have to say something before we start the session. So hello everyone, and a very, very good evening, a very warm welcome and namaste to all of you. Yeah, thank you for joining today's session. And before we start the session, I have something very, very important to announce. Firstly, I want to thank the head office, for the effort they are making in organizing these events month after month, which we all are enjoying. And the tireless efforts that they put in to organize these events, it's really commendable. Thank you so much. Heartfelt thank you from everyone on behalf of all the coordinators. I wish to thank, and chapter heads, of course. And secondly, I want to thank all the chapter heads and the coordinators who also have been organizing a variety of programs, novelty programs each day at all India level, which the members are enjoying, and we are participating wholeheartedly, and we are really enjoying them. And lastly, which is above all, I want to thank all the members for really joining these programs, enjoying, giving us great feedback on these programs, which is helping us to improvise on our programs. So thank you so much for all your participation and the efforts and the encouragement you give, and the smiles and the happy faces that we see every day. That makes our day. So truly very, very grateful for all of this. But today I have grabbed a few minutes before we start the session. I want to make a very, very special request to all of you. And that request is, kindly introduce new members to Dignity family. Kindly induct new members to Dignity family. Let's expand our Dignity family because it's a happy family. Yeah. And in return, you will receive a silver coin and a certificate, which is a small token of appreciation. So do you agree? You will you be introducing your friends and family? What are you thinking? Thank you so much for that encouraging, but I can still see few faces. I know what you are thinking. Some of you must be thinking, Arey, I don't want these silver coins at this age. Mujhe nahi chahiye. It has no value. It has no meaning at this point of time in my life. But I am saying, no, please don't think that way. This is not a silver coin. Please see it as silver lining. It's a silver lining to the cloud of, gloom, despair, isolation, boredom, which all of us are engulfed in today in the lockdown. And luckily, we aren't, because we are a part of Dignity family and we are enjoying these programs. So when you look at the silver coin in this way, it will look like a badge of honor, which you have received for transforming somebody's life for the better, for the good, and making that person happy. So I just wanted to convey this, and I hope and I urge to all of you, yeah, to really, really reach out to at least one friend every month and induct that person in the Dignity family. So will I get that cooperation from everyone? Will I get it? I'm just going through the screenshots and I want to see everybody's faces. Thank you so much for that thumbs up, and I got my answer. Truly grateful for all the support that you all give. And thank you so much for your patient listening. Yeah. And thank you for joining today's session on all round health for seniors. So our guest speaker for today, Ms. Bhavani Swaminathan, she has already joined. And thank you so much, Ms. Bhavani Swaminathan, for patiently listening to this announcement that I had to make. And a little bit of introduction about Ms. Bhavani Swaminathan. She wears many hats. She's a nutritionist. She's a certified diabetes educator. She is founder of Akansha, Desire for Wellness. Ms. Bhavani Swaminathan did her master's from Calcutta University in food and dietetics. She did her MPhil from University of Mumbai, and currently she is pursuing her PhD from University of Florida. She has 17 years of experience in the field of wellness through food and nutrition. Currently, she's doing a research on type 2 diabetes reversal through food, lifestyle modification, and chakra healing meditation. She also does diet counseling for kids, as she believes that it is very important to inculcate healthy habits in kids. She has a simple take on food, and that is, home cooked meal is a labor of love. Her prime aim is to spread the word on the magic which one's own kitchen can create. You can follow Ms. Bhavani Swaminathan on all social media platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Once again, a very warm welcome to you, Ms. Bhavani Swaminathan. We are waiting for the magic you will create in today's session. Thank you so much, and over to you. Thank you, ma'am.
Namaste, all of you, and thank you, Darshana ji, for introducing me so beautifully. Thanks a lot. I hope I'm audible.
You are.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Okay. So today, usually I log into my Zoom through my laptop, but today I'm using my phone, so I'm little, I hope it's clear, right? Okay. So thank you for inviting me on this platform. Thank you all of you, those participants, those who have joined here, and thank you, Darshana ji, for giving me this opportunity to speak on this platform. So today, is it going to be completely in English, or you want me to, speak also in Hindi? So if you let me know that, that would be great.
So it's better you avoid Hindi because people from Chennai and Bangalore probably may not understand. So English will be better, but few words here and there, I think it's
Okay, fine. Okay. So generally, yeah, fine. That's okay. Okay, so thank you all of you. And to begin with, as someone in the beginning said that if this internet would not have been there, then what would have happened? So Darshana said that it is, if it is not Zoom, then boom. So it's something like that. We have to take care of our health in different ways, the way we can. It's very important, as we all know in today's time. Health is very important, and let's see how we can take care of our health by taking certain measures. And whatever knowledge I have, I would like to share with all of you. Maybe some of the tips, if you can start doing in your, inculcating in your life, that might lead to some benefits and all. So to begin with, the first thing is, there's something I always call this as 5 rules of complete health in Ayurveda, which is for the seniors. So seniors, age is just a number, we know, but still after a certain age, say after 50 or 55, we need to take a lot of care of our health. So what are those, 5 rules, golden rules? Let's see. So number one, the first golden rule is something called as Agni Raksha. Okay, now this Agni Raksha is a Hindi word, but you will understand Agni is fire and Raksha means we are going to take care of it. So this Agni Raksha is very important. The reason is whatever food we are eating, that food has to, it's a basic science which we have studied in our school days also. When we eat food, we start chewing the food. And once we start chewing the food, it gets mixed up with our saliva. It enters our food pipe and goes to the small intestine, and the food gets digested. And the undigested food is thrown away to the, it moves towards the large intestine, and then it is removed out from the body. So basically, the digested food is providing nutrition to each and every cell of the body. Now, what happens if you are not able to digest the food? The food remains inside your stomach, and that creates something called as ama. Ama means toxin. In Ayurveda, we call it as ama. So it creates that toxin, and ultimately what happens, these toxins over a period of time, that is something, wherein we say, I'm suffering from constipation, or I'm suffering from indigestion, or then these are the small problems, and later it leads to major problems like, uh, you know, some heart diseases or cancer. Cancer is the last stage. So, these are joint pain and all. So the first thing is that is called as Agni Raksha. Now, how are we going to take care of our digestive fire? Okay. This is the most important thing, because it's been, we have this habit of making mistake, because we eat very good food, but we don't know that how to drink water. Okay, this is the most important thing which we all need to understand, that we need to digest the food. That's the basic principle if you want to remain healthy. Okay. So now what happens when we start eating food? Remember that as soon as we start eating food, there is something called as Jathar Agni, we call it in Ayurveda, which means the digestive fire, which is somewhere below our navel. So this digestive fire starts burning. And when the food which we are eating, that is getting digested because of this fire, it is something like we are cooking, you are keeping a kheer in a utensil, adding water, milk and rice and sugar, and you have switched on your gas burner. So in that heat, the kheer, the kheer or, payasam is going to, you can make that kheer. The same way, when we are eating food, so this food will get digested only when the Jathar Agni or the digestive fire starts burning. Okay. Now, what happens? The main mistake which most of us we do is we have this habit of drinking water when we are eating. Now, what happens if you have this habit? You start drinking water either before your meal or after your meal. And some people have the habit of drinking water, just one spoon of rice has gone inside the mouth, immediately a small sip of water. Now, if this is your habit, this is going to create ama, that is toxin. Okay, that means the food is not going to get digested. We know that fire and water are not good friends, they are enemies. So remember, if you want your digestion to happen properly, because all this, any exotic food you buy and eat, but if you're not able to digest that food, then it is of no use. So the most important thing is taking care of your Agni, that is Agni Raksha, your digestive fire. So remember that never ever drink water when you are eating food, because that is not going to help you in digestion. And when the food is not digested, that means it is going to remain in your stomach. Toxins are going to get produced, and these toxins are going to create, it will come out in different forms of diseases, right from acidity, gastric problem, indigestion, constipation, and then leading to joint pain, this and that. Okay, that's the number one golden rule. Now the second golden rule is something called as Abhyanga. Now, this Abhyanga is also common in Ayurveda, which means oil massage. So remember that our body, there has to be certain circulation, if when we start massaging oil, so that is a kind of, we are soothing our nerves. Okay. Suppose you have some sleep disorder or insomnia, or you're not able to sleep properly, at that this oil massage will help you. So second golden rule is every day, it's just now, since because of lockdown and we are not able to go out, we have enough time to take care of our health. So number one golden rule, we understood that we are not going to drink water when we are eating food. Second golden rule is every day you do this Abhyanga. Now Abhyanga means simple oil massage. The best oil for Abhyanga is sesame oil. If sesame oil is not available in your region, suppose if you stay in Bengal or Bihar, so in that case, mustard oil is easily available. So little bit of mustard oil can be used, or coconut oil can be used. The idea is you have to massage your body with this oil. So that massage, 5 to 10 minutes if you massage, that is going to rejuvenate your body. Okay, because all these things we are going to take care of our health. So taking care of our health doesn't mean that always, thinking about food or exercising. There are few more points which has to be added. So second point is Abhyanga, wherein you are massaging your complete body. And suppose one person, you do not like the idea of massaging your body. So other option is you can just do a head massage and a face massage with oil. That itself is sufficient for the better circulation, and it will soothe your nerves. So second step is massaging your body or massaging just your head or face. Third step in Ayurveda, it is said that after massaging, the next step is going to be like you have to use Uptan. Now this is called as Uptan, which we call it as face pack or body scrub or something like that. So after doing Abhyanga, it's not right to take bath using soap. So next step will be using some kind of, see, all these things are already present in our kitchen, like, besan or masoor dal powder or these kind of thing, rice powder and all. So just adding a small amount of curd or milk or just plain water to it, just taking bath, this is going to really help you. And the next rule is, which is called as pranayam. So pranayam, we all are aware of pranayam, because, and especially from March 2020, we have understood that how important it is to build our immunity, and we know this now that by doing pranayama, that is breathing exercises, we can build up this immunity apart from having good food also. So the next golden rule is doing pranayama, and after that, there's something called in Ayurveda as Oja Shakti. Now, Oja Shakti means immunity. We have to keep our immunity raised. Now, especially after in this 1 year, you'll find the social media is floating with all types of herbal tea and kadha and everything about, to tips to raise immunity. So immunity is something, we have to consume those foods which are going to help to increase our immunity. Now, moving on, these were some of the golden rules which are mentioned in Ayurveda. So when we talk about this, how something called as, I call it as healthy aging with good nutrition. Now, how do we do this in our day-to-day life? Okay. So there are few rules which we need to follow to maintain our health, to keep ourselves healthy. The first rule is, when we talk about, daily maintenance, the first thing which we have to consider is taking meals in small quantities at regular intervals. Now, there are people who have this habit, they feel, okay, I have a larger meal for my lunch and dinner, some amount of food I'll have for my breakfast, and that's it. So, after a particular age, say when you have crossed the age of 45 or 50, where the metabolism rate slows down, and now the physical activity, we all are, fall in the category of sedentary worker. Okay. So it's better we have meals at smaller intervals. Say, for example, you had, every 3 hours or 2.5 hours, you have some small meals that will really help you. The second point is eating food at fixed time. That is very important, because if you have set your routine, so if you have your breakfast, lunch, dinner, mid-evening, mid-morning, type of eating, say 5 to 6 times a day you are having food, so that has to be fixed in the sense breakfast has to be somewhere between 8:30 to 9:30, somewhere in between 8:30 and 9:30. Lunch should get over before 1 p.m. Dinner should get over max to max by 7:30. Now, why this rule has been set up, it's not that I am saying, it is mentioned in the Ayurveda textbook. If you are aware of these textbooks, that is, Bhagavad Rishi and Charak Samhita, all these textbooks, Dincharya. So you will find there, all these points are mentioned. Dincharya is something, what time you have to get up, what all activities in a day you will be doing, everything is mentioned in the textbook. The reason is that is how we have to lead our lifestyle to stay away from diseases. See, medical science has advanced so much that we can a person can live up to the age of say 90-95 also. But the thing is, if you're constantly taking medicines, then what is the use? We have to be very healthy. Now that health, how we are going to bring in that good health? By eating proper diet and by doing good exercise, and including some kind of lifestyle modifications. So the number one thing is eating small meals at regular intervals. Second, I said fixed time. Fixed time, the reason is because there is something called as Vata, Pitta and Kapha. Some of you might be aware of this also. So it is said that the morning time, Kapha is dominating, afternoon time Pitta is dominating, and evening time Vata is dominating. So what happens is in the morning time, that's the reason why somewhere between 8 to 9:30 should be our breakfast time. So if you fix your times, if example, your breakfast time is 9 o'clock, so make sure the time is fixed. Maybe 10 minutes here and there can happen, but you can't do that. One day you're having it 8:30 and the other day 10 o'clock, it won't work. So that has to be fixed time. Afternoon time, why I said before 1 o'clock is, the reason is it is pitta time. So what happens during this pitta time, our digestive fire is at the highest, it's at its peak. So the food, whatever you are eating, if you are eating before 1 o'clock, it will get digested very easily. There are people who stretch their lunch, they take their lunch at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, post 3 o'clock. So that if you fall under that category, which means that it will be very difficult for you to digest the food. So make sure that 1 o'clock, or maximum, you can say that by 1:30 you finish your lunch. Then dinner, why it is to be before 7:30, somewhere between 7 and 7:30. The reason is, again, it is Vata time. That means it will aggravate Vata, that is gas. So gas formation happens maximum at the night time. So that's the reason we always say that at night the dinner should be light and we should finish it off early. So the idea is, if by 7:30 you finish your dinner, so if you're going to bed at 10 o'clock, that means your stomach is light and you will get a good sleep. If you are going to bed with a heavy stomach, you won't be able to sleep. So, and that's the reason, a lot of people, they don't get sleep because they have their food very late at night and it becomes very difficult also to digest the food. Now, moving on to the next part to maintain a good health is, make sure that the food which you are consuming, it should be a combination of both cooked food and raw food. That is very important. The reason is, we all love to eat cooked food and we actually eat cooked food only. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, naturally it's cooked food. Again, when we are hungry in the evening, and evening time is something, you will all agree with me on this point, that 4:30 to 6 o'clock is the time wherein we are actually very hungry, and that's the time when we when we land up eating wrong things and all the nonsense things we eat at the evening time only, and then because of that the dinner gets delayed. So whenever we are eating the whole day, it's like, we are eating the cooked food only, and evening when we are hungry, we go for samosas or some chips packet. And the best option I've seen with people is chai and biscuit. So it said, somewhere I read this thing, which is actually very funny, but it's very good also. The point was mentioned that biscuit is something like wish koot koot kar bhara hai. So it's really, unhealthy thing. The reason is, biscuit contains lot of trans fat. The chips we are having, taking out from the packet, it contains lot of trans fat, and these trans fats are really harmful, especially if you are already hypertensive or if you have certain, heart ailment, then it is going to be really bad for you. So when we have this, in a day when we eat food, make sure that at least 40% of your diet has raw food and rest 60% is cooked food. Now, how do we eat this raw food? Because when I say raw food, people say that, how do I eat, salad? Because I won't be able to chew. I won't be able to chew sprouts. It is difficult, so these are certain, things which people say, but raw food doesn't mean that it's all about salad and sprouts. There are so many things which you can eat raw. So the number one thing is, the best thing which I say, and especially during this particular time, it's a testing time for all of us, and we really need to maintain our health. So there are few things, raw things, which is a must to include in your diet. And that is number one, when you get up, if you have this habit of having this morning tea, okay, whenever I say, though, Darshana ji, I don't want to lose my popularity in your group, but the thing is, I would really like to talk about tea. Tea is something, tea and coffee is something, when you get up in the morning, people love to have this. They feel it gives an instant boost to your energy. That's true. It is going to give that instant boost to your energy, but tea is something which is very acidic. So morning when you get up, try to fill your try to give your body some good thing which is actually helping you to work. Okay, so that good thing, when I say, it includes nimbu juice, I mean the lemon juice. So when you get up in the morning, make sure that you have a glass of warm water, squeezing half lemon juice to it. And if you are non-diabetic, you can add 1 teaspoon of honey to it. And if you're diabetic, in that case, then you need not add anything. Just take that nimbu juice. This is the first thing which you can do. And that's the best thing I would say if you want to maintain your health, if you want to keep it in a good condition. Moving on to the next thing, it's just a small, diet plan kind of thing I'm sharing with all of you, so that, you can do some changes in your dietary patterns in your everyday life to keep yourself healthy. So first thing is drinking this lemon juice in the morning. After say half an hour time, you can go for a tea, and not the regular tea which wherein we are adding sugar, chai patti, milk, water, and all these things, and where we add ginger and we say that it's a very good, ginger tea. So that tea is okay, maybe post your breakfast, not in the morning hours. So morning you can make your own herbal tea kind of thing. That's after having lemon juice, that should be the second thing which you are going for. So this herbal tea will have, a glass of water, adding a pinch of turmeric, 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric to it. And you can add just a pinch of cinnamon powder, because now it's May month and summer season, the cinnamon will create more heat. So a pinch of cinnamon is fine. To that, you add some tulsi patta, that is basil leaves. And if you have this plant at home, giloy. Now, giloy is something we always, and all of us, we grow tulsi plant in our balcony, in our garden. So, giloy is also something, and we all know that now giloy vati, that is the giloy tablets, which were Ayurvedic tablets, but now all the medical stores, they sell these tablets. All the medicine, pharmaceutical companies are making this tablet. So why you need to buy tablet? Just plant, bring a plant from the nursery, giloy plant, and it's going to grow like, aloe vera. You need not give much of, no water, nothing is much required. So just have a plant at home and pluck some leaves from this giloy leaf and you add it to your tea. So boil this. You can add to give it, a little bit of sweetness. You can add some jaggery or maybe some honey if you're non-diabetic, or if you're diabetic, you can just drink it like this. So this turmeric tea, the herbal tea, will work wonders. So that should be taken in the morning. And then you go for your breakfast. Now, breakfast, when you're having, it should be a freshly cooked food, which we all do.
Sorry, somebody asked what is giloy?
Giloy is a plant. It's a plant. The leaves and the stem all are famous for their medicinal properties in Ayurveda. So basically, this giloy vati, which is called as giloy tablet, was available only in Ayurveda stores. It's a very excellent immunity booster, actually. So this is now available in every medical store also. This is a very common plant available like tulsi. We buy and we keep it in our balcony. Same way you can buy this plant. You can keep it in your balcony. Some amount of water you give every day. That plant is going to grow very well. So those leaves you can pluck and add it to your herbal tea. That's a very natural and the best immunity booster. One of the I won't call it as a superfood. It's just, immunity booster. So that is giloy. Moving on to the breakfast part. So breakfast is something, generally we all have either idli, upma, dosa, these kind of thing, parathas and all for the breakfast. Along with this, something raw you take. Raw means what? A juice. Now, why I say juice? The reason is because salad and all is something for your lunch. You can go for salad. But then what happens is, breakfast also, if I say raw, then what raw? Juice is the best option, and that juice which can be easily prepared at home. And two ingredients I'll tell you. Why these two ingredients? That also I'll tell you. The main two ingredients to prepare juices, one is beetroot and the other one is spinach. Okay. Now combine these two and wash it thoroughly and then put it in. If you have a juicer, that's fine. If you do not have a juicer, just put it in your mixer, cut it into pieces, put it in your mixer, add water, churn it and strain it and drink it immediately without adding anything to it. Because people ask, should I add salt, pepper and everything? No extra salt, no spices, no herbs you need to put. Just this juice, you drink it when you're having your breakfast, either before your breakfast or after the breakfast. Why? The reason is, this is how we are going to get, some of the, say I said 40% of raw diet. So how we are going to put that raw diet in our system. So one by one, I'll tell you the different ways. So number one way is, you are having this juice. So this juice, specifically, why this combination? The reason is because spinach and beetroot, they both are rich in nitrate. And we know now, because we all are aware of this, that why nitrate is so important. Because it's going to increase the, it's a kind of naturally which can be produced by our body, and when we are supplying these two things to our body in the raw form. See, when you cook this beetroot or your spinach, what happens even after cooking, you can make some sabzi or you can add the spinach to dal and you can have, not an issue. But the thing is, these particular vegetables, they contain lot of micronutrients, which means vitamins and minerals. As soon as you cook, all the vitamins and minerals are destroyed. Okay, so ultimately the food which we are eating, the cooked vegetable, that is just tasty to us, but maybe 5 to 10% of nutrients they are supplying to our body. So in this way, when you are having this raw juice, so 90 to 100% of all the micronutrients will be supplied to your body, which is very essential. So that's the reason the juice can be of any combination. If you have, if you're getting carrot, that's fine. Whatever vegetable you find, you can even with the fruit juices, but I would prefer you go for vegetable juice. So that's one thing, raw thing, which we are going to include in our breakfast time. Now moving on to the mid morning, that is around somewhere between, you can say 11:30, wherein something small, kind of thing you need to eat. So this is the time when you can go for almonds and cashews and kishmish. That is the dry fruits. Okay. Now people think that cashews, I'm going to put on weight because of cashews. No, it's not. It's a myth. So you can, maybe you can go for some soaked nuts. Some say 5 to 6 almonds and 8 to 10 raisins. You can soak it in water and you can have this, say in the mid morning, say around 11 o'clock. So this is again something raw you are having. It is not being cooked. You are just soaking it in water and drink that water also. This is one thing. Now moving on to the lunch part. So when we are having lunch, start your lunch with a salad. Now that salad does not mean that you're going to go for a very fancy salad dressed up with olive oil and all, nothing. A very simple salad wherein 6 to 7 pieces of cucumber are there, 2 to 3 pieces of tomatoes are there. If you are fine with onion, then go for 2 to 3 pieces of onion. That's it. It is enough. And it can be easily, you won't find it difficult to chew this. So start your food with a small amount of salad. This is also raw food which is entering your stomach. Then you have your cooked food, whatever. So if you are used to having chapati, dal, sabzi, that's fine. Or if you are having, rice, sambar, curry and all, that's also fine. So later you have your cooked food. Now moving on to the evening time, say 4 o'clock, you would like to have a cup of tea, the normal tea, fine. At that time, you can go for either tea or coffee. Okay. And morning also, if you're addicted to tea or coffee, at least make sure that after breakfast and after having this juice and all, give a gap of half an hour, say around 9:30, 10 o'clock, you can have a cup of tea or coffee. Now, initially, if you start this kind of routine, so maybe you will get headache because our body system is used to taking that tea or coffee. The caffeine intake is early in the morning. So you may suffer with this trouble. So slowly you will overcome this once you start doing this. Okay. Because coffee and tea is something, right in the morning. And that's the reason the acidity problem. I've seen so many people, taking medicines for acidity. The doctor says you take it for 15 days, 20 days. But I've seen people, continuing it for months together, years together. Why? Because if I don't take that medicine, empty stomach, then whole day I won't be able to eat. I feel nauseatic. I have the stomach ache. So this acidity, the major reason is importantly, number one is the caffeine intake, or if you're addicted towards, smoking and alcohol, that also causes this problem. So make sure that you have in a day 2 cups of tea or coffee, but not in the morning, maybe after your breakfast. Okay. Now, mid evening times around 4 o'clock, you had your tea or coffee. And after that, that's the time when I said we are really hungry at 5 o'clock and we'll end up eating chips and samosas and bhajias and all. So instead of having that again, you can go for something raw. And that raw means smoothies. Now, smoothies are something which are very tasty and which are very filling, which are extremely nutritious. So when, some of them I can share at the end of the, session. some types of smoothies which you can easily make it at home. So you can go for smoothie, say around at 5:30. Before 6 o'clock, this has to be taken. Or if you feel that, you're feeling little lazy to make that smoothie, then you can go for fruits, any seasonal fruit. Now, watermelon is available, muskmelon is there, mangoes are there, papaya is there, banana, the best superfood we can call it as. And people feel that, eating banana is not right just because it is going to put on weight or diabetics cannot have. So it's nothing like that. You can have any one type of fruit. Do not mix 2, 3 varieties of fruits together. So in the evening time, you can either go for smoothies or you can go for fruits. So that's one way, again, by which you are adding some raw food to your diet. So, and then dinner will be the normal dinner, whatever you have, either dalia or khichdi or roti sabzi, whatever. So when you look at this diet chart, diet plan, you will find that 40% of our diet is, we are having the raw food in the form of juice, raw food in the form of salad, raw food in the form of smoothies, and raw food in the form of fruits. And the last one is our dry fruits. Okay, so there are 5 ways we are including raw food in different ways. So whole day, cooked food, along with the cooked food, we are eating also the raw food. So this is really going to help you, because what happens, the reason why we need to consume raw food is, most of the time when we are consuming cooked food, what happens is, when we are cooking any food, it's like, 60 to 70% of the enzymes are lost. I mean, they are destroyed. When we are eating this cooked food, it takes a lot of time for our stomach to digest this food. Whereas when we take raw food, so it is easily digested, and most importantly, 95 to 100% of nutrients are intact, and these nutrients are supplied to each and every cell of our body. So that's the reason why we need to take some amount of raw food in our diet. So this was all about, how you can manage your day by eating, right food, and how you can take some amount of, taking care of not drinking water along with your food to keep protect your Agni, so that the toxins don't get accumulated. So this was one part of today's session. Moving on to the next part is something related to immunity. Now, immunity is the keyword now, as you know, that when you open Facebook or when you open your WhatsApp, so there are so many food and so many recipes and so many things coming about immunity. Now, immunity, like everybody is talking about immunity. So I find it so funny. Like, maybe, there's not much knowledge about food or something, diet or nutrition, but still people talk about immunity. To some extent they are correct only, but then there are certain things which we should also understand, that what exactly is immunity. Okay, so immunity means what? It's like, we say that in simple terms, it's said that, the definition says that it is the capacity to recognize and tolerate whatever belongs to the self, and to recognize and reject what is foreign. Okay, understand? So this is called as immunity. So whatever is not my thing, I'm going to reject it. So that's what our body does. Okay, so let's understand, the first thing before moving on to what are those superfoods that are going to raise our immunity. And before that, I would just like to, share some, things, that is the 10 habits, or rather not 10 habits, some habits which is going to damage our immunity. Let us first understand that what are those habits that are going to damage our immunity. Number one point is, if you are a night owl, that means you do not sleep at night properly, you get very poor sleep. That is going to damage your immunity. Second thing is, if you if you have this habit of taking excess sugar, refined sugar, that will also damage your immunity. Third is alcohol consumption, that reduces the production of WBCs. So if you are, have the habit of having this alcohol regularly, then remember to stop this, because this is also something which is going to damage your immunity. Then tobacco, I need not stress upon tobacco, as we all know. Then too much of caffeine. That's one thing I think most of the people, they love to have tea or coffee. So again, caffeine is something which is going to damage your immunity. Then eating junk food. Now, junk food doesn't mean that we always tell the kids at home, the children and grandchildren, that don't eat pizzas and burgers and all. Even, samosas and this one, chips and all these also fall under the category of junk food. I'll tell you how later. And then eating food in excess amount will also damage your immunity, because that's the reason initially I said that eat food whole day. You just keep eating in small quantities. It will be easier to digest rather than sitting at one time and having a very large meal. Okay. And the next important point is proper hydration, because people generally, I've seen this morning when they get up very sincerely, 3, 4, 5 glasses of water they drink, and then whole day they forget to drink water. Now you have to keep yourself hydrated, especially in the month of May and June, where actually we need hydration. So drink plenty of water in the sense, if you forget to drink water, keep an alarm, and every 2 hours keep drinking water. That will help you to keep you hydrated. And next point is sedentary lifestyle, which is going to damage your immunity. Okay, World Health Organization has come up with this saying that sitting is a new smoking. If you have seen this or if you have read this, you must be knowing. So World Health Organization says that sitting is the new smoking, which means if you are sitting for long hours at in one place, it is going to damage you, or it is going to, it's the ill effects. The same ill effects are going to, it will be causing the way we are smoking. So a smoker, whatever damages smoking does, the same damage sitting will do. So that means what? It is said that in one place, we should not be sitting for more than 1 hour. Say, for example, now this program is for 1 or 1.5 hours. Okay. Now, as a speaker, I'm sitting, I don't have any option. I have to sit and talk. But then when I attend any session, what I do is, I put off my video for a while and I carry my phone along with me. It's like, every 40 or 45 minutes, you just get up from your place, you walk 10 steps forward, walk 10 steps backward, and you stretch yourself. This will take just 2 minutes. So every 1 hour, say after 45 to 50 minutes, you have to do this exercise. Now, what happens is we generally forget this. People who are working from home, seniors who are, sitting, and they forget that so much of time we have been sitting. So maybe or 1 hour, you just get up, stretch yourself, walk forward, walk backward, just 2 minutes it will take, and come back and sit in your place. So do not sit in one place for hours together, because that will also damage your immunity. And the most important, the next point is exercise. Exercising is equally important. So people, they complain that morning half an hour I go for walk, and evening also I half an hour I go for walk, and then I do even yoga and pranayam. But then I'm not able to get rid of this acidity or flatulence or constipation. So this is one of the reasons. One is might be the wrong eating habit. Secondly, it might be that whole day you are sedentary. You are just sitting. That's the reason. Make it a habit. Keep an alarm and get up and walk and stretch yourself for 2 minutes. So these were some of the habits, that is going to damage your immunity. Now, coming on to the point, that is what food we can include to increase our immunity. So that way, if we see all the Indian foods are actually superfoods. No one particular food can be called as superfood when we talk about the Indian food. But then there are certain things which is a kind of must in your diet. So if you try to include these foods in your diet, that is really going to help to boost your immunity or to strengthen your immunity. So the number one thing which we all know is, and that is citrus fruits. So including some amount of, lemon juice every day, or maybe, Mosambi season will be coming. You can go for Mosambi, You can go for amla, the dried amla, because now the amla season is not there. So these kind of citrus food is going to help you to increase your immunity. The second food that comes in the list is bell pepper. Now, bell pepper, at least it is said that it has twice as much as vitamin C as lemons have. So, bell pepper at least twice a week. Try to include in your diet. Make some sabji or sambar out of it. So, bell pepper is another option. I mean, the second food which can boost your immunity. So, moving on to the next food is ginger. Now, ginger is something everybody. I think all age group people, so we can do this. The easiest thing is you just take a small piece of ginger, say 1/4 piece of ginger, and crush it, soak it in water for 10-15 minutes, strain this water, add a teaspoon of honey to it, and you can have this small, 1 or 2 teaspoon of ginger juice. Any point of day you can have this, because ginger contains a component called gingerol. Now, this ginger oil has got antiviral property and antibacterial property that is going to really help us to boost our immunity system. So, ginger is a must in our diet. The next food, I mean, the superfood you can call it as, is garlic. Now, garlic is something, though it is mentioned in Ayurveda that garlic has medicinal properties, and it actually has medicinal properties. But if you are not used to garlic, some community people, they don't use garlic. If you fall in that category, or maybe if you know your prakriti, that is in Ayurveda, we call it as prakriti, either Vat, Pitta or Kapha. So in that case, if you are Pitta prakriti person, garlic will not suit you. So depends on, whether you are able to, whether garlic is suitable for you or not, you have to eat, especially during the summer season. One very good thing which can be done is you can make a garlic tea kind of thing. It's very simple to make. Just take 3 to 4 pods of garlic, crush it, and leave it for 10 minutes. The reason why we have to leave it for 10 minutes is garlic has got certain components that will get, there's a kind of, it's a reaction between the atmospheric oxygen and the garlic. So when we leave it for some time, say for 10 minutes, after that, you take that garlic, add in a glass of water, heat it, and then strain it and add little amount of either jaggery or honey to it. This is a very nice garlic tea. So maybe, once in a while, if you are not a garlic eater, you can go for this kind of tea also. Moving on to the next immunity boosting food is almond. Now, almonds are rich in vitamin C, which is very good for skin as well as to boost our memory. It is very good. That's the reason I said in the mid morning, you can eat few almonds, say 5 to 6 soaked almonds, because it is easier to chew also and it is easy to digest also. Turmeric, we all know, it's a weapon in our Indian kitchen. So anyways, we are adding turmeric in all our Indian food. So I'm not going to stress upon turmeric. And giloy also, I said giloy is something all of you must have. If you find it difficult to buy the plant and keep it in your balcony and make chai out of it, you can just go for giloy vati, that is the tablet. So maybe, once in a day, one tablet, if you have, that's a really strengthen your immunity. And if you have tulsi leaves, at home, just chew some tulsi leaves. So these are some of the, food that is going to boost your immunity. Okay. Now, Darshana ji, do we have time to discuss the home remedies
I
also?
think we had to also know the difference between sodium and salt. I think that was one thing which people will look forward to knowing that
Okay.
difference. Yeah, then we can take Q&A. So we have time.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So do I need to go for the home remedies also? Or should I jump into sodium and salt? Okay, what I'll do is quickly, I'll just cover both in short. Okay. So moving on to the next one, that is about difference between sodium and salt. Now, this is a big confusion about sodium and salt. We think that, this salt which we are consuming, that contains sodium. And we know that sodium is not good for our health, especially if a person is suffering from high blood pressure, or if he has heart-related heart ailments. Now, the thing is, every food, any food when you take, that has some amount of sodium. naturally every food, any vegetable, any fruit, any natural food, when you take, it has some amount of sodium in it. Now, this sodium, which naturally we are getting from the vegetable or fruit or some other food, they are not bad for our health because the sodium content in these food is very less. Only to some amount we get sodium from these food. But the thing is, when we start including table salt in our diet, when we start including processed food in our diet, so then the sodium level becomes very high. Okay, so World Health Organization has also, given a measurement that a person, how much sodium he has to consume in a day. So somewhere it is said that, 5,000 milligram of sodium has to be consumed by one person in a day, which means somewhere between, we can roughly, we can say that somewhere between, say, it's like one or 1.5 teaspoon when we calculate this. But actually, when we see the amount of food, I mean, the daily intake of salt, just the salt I'm talking, the table salt, white salt, which we are having, that itself will be far more. When you just check, whatever you are eating right from the morning, breakfast to dinner, so it is much higher than the required quantity. That is number one. And second is, apart from adding salt to the food, we are getting this sodium from different ways. When you are opening a chips packet, it is filled with sodium. When you are having pickles, it is filled with sodium. When you are going for the processed food, it is filled with sodium. So everywhere unknowingly, that sodium intake is high, okay, for us. So in a research, it was seen that though the general idea, is that a person should be consuming somewhere around 5,000 milligrams sodium, but it exceeds to 13 or 14,000 milligram. It's double than what is required. So this also we have seen in the researches. So the thing is, now how do we restrict this sodium? So yeah, the sodium which we are getting from the natural food, vegetable and fruit, that is absolutely fine. We need not bother about it. The bothering thing is the salt which we are eating, because maximum sodium we are getting from the table salt, which is also called as refined salt, the white salt which we are adding to our food. So one good option will be that you switch to Sendha Namak. Sendha Namak is generally called as pink salt. In fasting and all, people, in north side who do fasting, they use the Sendha Namak. So in general, everyday diet also, if you switch over to Sendha Namak, that way the sodium intake will be less. Especially if you have already been detected that you are hypertensive, your blood pressure is on the higher side, and if you have some heart ailment, please remember that do not go for processed food, do not go for sodium high intake food, which all the packeted foods have, and stop having this salt, the refined salt or the table salt. Go for the pink salt, which is also called as Sendha Namak. That is one thing. And secondly, there are different all more varieties of salt. One is called as sea salt. But then it's very easy because today's time, it becomes very difficult to go and look for those type of salt. So the whole idea is maximum of sodium we are getting from the salt, and that's the reason why we need to switch over to a different variety of salt, and that is the Sendha Namak or the pink salt. Now, what happens is when you keep on having this high sodium diet, okay, what happens is whatever, I mean, the liquid which is near your heart, those liquids, these sodium are going to absorb. And that's the reason why, it is always said people who are hypertensive and people who are suffering from heart diseases do not go for high sodium diet. That's the reason the sodium limit, I mean, the intake should be limited. Okay, so switch over to Sendha Namak. That's the best option. Pickling, pickles in our Indian culture, pickle is something which is very good, and actually it is good, but unknowingly the pickles which we are eating now is absolutely ruining our health. That also contains a lot of sodium. The reason is all these pickles are processed. I don't know how many of you know this. So if you have the habit of making pickle at home, or if you know someone who can make pickle at home and give it to you, that's a different thing. You can go for those pickles, but not the marketed pickles. Those are all full of sodium, and they have more of processing has been done. So this is one thing you have to remember about sodium. That sodium intake has to be as less as possible, and that can be done only when you are switching over to sendha namak. I mean the pink salt. Okay. Now the last part for today's this thing is about some natural remedies, which as discussed. So natural remedies quickly. I would like to share a few natural remedies. I mean the common ailments which most of us suffer, and after a specific age, this problem becomes little more problematic. So that is number one is acidity. Second one is constipation, and constipation, flatulence, and some may be related to skin. Also, we can talk. The first point, the natural remedy I would like to talk about, constipation. Now, this I keep telling in all my sessions, and this is a very all these natural remedies are not just I read somewhere and I'm sharing with you. This has been this I call it as nani ke nuske, because from my grandmom's time, I still remember when I was a small kid, my grandmother, any problem, any health issue, if we go and tell her, she used to do something in the kitchen and she used to bring and she used to give us, and believe me, touch wood, till today, we do not have the habit of popping a pill for any reason unless it is something very major, touch wood, by God's grace. I mean, nothing has happened. But the thing is, we try to solve all these problems by using our age-old, grandmom's recipes only. So when I say, constipation is a very common problem, and especially when after a certain age, what happens? The system becomes very weak, and because of lack of movement and all, people do not pass stools. Maybe in 2-3 days it happens. So that leads to constipation, and once constipation problem starts, though it's a very simple problem, but then later a lot of different other issues starts with constipation. So how we can get rid of constipation by just doing some simple home remedies? So number one is, believe me, or I mean, you please try this, those who are having this problem, flatulence and the constipation, and let me know, tell Darshana ji after a couple of weeks or months, and Darshana ji will tell me the best way, the best solution is something called as ash god. Ash god is Safed Bhopla in here we call it in North and in Maharashtra. Ash god in South, Pushnikya is very famous, Vella Pushnikya. Now, this is something, maybe we make sambar out of it, we make putu out of it, and there are some people who just for, hang it in front of their house so that, वो कहते हैं ना नजर नहीं लगती है for that thing. But believe me, in Ayurveda, ash god is called as high pranic food. I mean, it is considered as Amrit in Ayurveda, but then we do not use ash god in a proper way. And as I said, we generally cook it, or we just, nazar utar ke we throw it away. We are not using that. So in case if you're suffering from severe constipation or from flatulence, the best thing is using ash god, use of ash god. How do we use this ash god? Just buy ash god, cut it into small pieces, remove the skin, remove the seeds, cut it into small pieces, put it in your blender or mixer, add water, churn it, strain it, and drink it immediately, empty stomach in the morning. Now, what happens when you start drinking this ash god juice? There is something called as, I call it as kachras. In Hindi, we call it as kachras. All the dirt, it is which is present inside our body, because we can't see. Externally, we are cleaning ourselves, but there are so much of kachras which has been accumulated inside our body. So when you start drinking this ash god juice, so all these kachras, they get they get stick to this juice, and slowly the system starts clearing off. Your internal system will be completely clean. If you do this ash god juice, if you drink at least regularly every day, at least for 21 days. See, minimum, if you want to see any change, minimum it needs 21 days, you know, religiously if you do this. So that's one thing wherein naturally you can get rid of constipation. And secondly, second point is something, you know, if though now carrots are not much available, but carrot juice is a very good thing which is good for constipation. And moving on to you know, acidity part. Acidity means, you know, there's a kind of you know, people feel like all the time burping, as if, you know, the food has not entered the stomach, rather it is moving upward. So a lot of people face with this problem. So in this, the best thing is what you can do is soft, what is it called? Fennel seeds. Okay, soft, we call it in Hindi soft. So fennel seeds, you take, say, 1 teaspoon of fennel seeds and a small amount of mishri. Now, mishri, there are two types of ones. Sorry. There are two types of mishri. That is, one is in the rock form and one is in the small, you know, what you call it as, you know, in temples and all, some, you know, during prasad they give. So never go for those type of mishri. Go for the rock form of mishri, which is also, which in Maharashtra we call it as khadi shakkar. In sorry, in South India we call it as kalkand. So that rock one, it's like, you know, rock form of thing. So buy that one, just make powder of it, and say 1 teaspoon of fennel seed and a small amount of this mishri powder in a glass of water. You keep it, and whole night let it be like that. Next morning, strain it and drink this. Now this will help to get rid of acidity problem. Those who face this problem, you know, the food is coming, moving upwards. You know, I'm not feeling nice because, you know, all the time I feel like burping, and it's a, you know, that kind of, you know, feeling you get. For that, this is a very good thing which can be done. Okay. So a few more, Darshana ji, you want me to, sorry, to talk on few more home remedies, or we would take questions, or would you
Yeah, so
like
there are some questions which are coming online. Why don't you grab a glass of water?
Yeah.
We can take some time. Yeah.
No problem. You continue the question.
Yeah. So there are some questions which have come online and on the chat. So the simplest one is there a Hindi name for Giloy? So we can go for the Q&A because
Yeah.
time is running short and we will not have people having the answers. So we can.
Not an issue. Giloy, in Hindi only it is called as Giloy. Actually, I don't know the English name of Giloy.
Okay. So then somebody has asked that, you know, when to take water after food. Since you said not to take water with food, so when to take?
Okay, very good question. So this is either before, I mean the major meals which you are having, that is the breakfast, lunch and dinner. Half an hour before you can take water, and post your breakfast, lunch and dinner, after 1 hour you can take water. Now, if you are a person who cannot imagine your life without water while eating, say for example, like my mom-in-law, she was used to having this kind of, you know, thing, food and water together. After I joined the family, I stopped this habit. You know, you must be wondering that. Okay, anyways. So this is the like one thing which can be done is after the breakfast. I mean, during the breakfast, you can have juice. The juice which I suggested, or any fresh juice. So along with the breakfast, instead of having water, you can go for the juice in case if you feel, no, I cannot eat without water. So juice is the best option for breakfast. For lunch, the best option is buttermilk. If you feel, you know, you want to drink water, you can go for buttermilk. But night, for after, during dinner, it will be a problem. You can neither have juice nor you can go for buttermilk. Those both are not good at the dinner time. So you have to somehow eat your food and give a gap of say 20-25 minutes. After that, you can either drink water or you can drink milk. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. One of the person had asked that, you know, I usually take lassi with my lunch, the north people. So
Yeah.
I think she means the khara lassi, not the sweet lassi. I hope so.
Yes. Khara lassi, right.
Yeah. So buttermilk is khara lassi.
Yeah.
And there is one more question which has come is there is a theory that you cannot have cooked food and raw food together. So should we mix it or we should take it separately?
Now this is also, now it depends if you are a Vata person, Vata dominated person. then this will not suit you, eating together raw and cooked food. So in that case, we have to understand our body. So in case when you're having your salad, and on top of the salad, when you're having your lunch, and you feel that kind of uneasiness, that flatulence is there, that means it is not going to suit you. So maybe ideally it is said that half an hour before your lunch, you have to eat your salad. So when I say this, it becomes, people feel like so tiring, we have to have our salad and then give a gap of half an hour and then go for lunch. So that's the reason, generally people say better to mix it and have. But actually, it should not be mixed. So if you have that much time, you can first have your salad, give a gap of 20-25 minutes, and then go for your cooked food.
Yeah. So the next question is how about cholesterol reducing foods? So can a person with cholesterol have cashews? Also, another question has come up. I think both are connected.
Okay. Now, cashews, any person can have, even if you have cholesterol or if you're having some heart problem, hypertension, not an issue. But the only thing is you have to check is whether it is unsalted. So unsalted cashews can be taken, and that too in a limit. Limit in the sense 4 to 5 cashews at a time in a day is fine. If you exceed, then it will be a problem. Now, moving on to the question that is for the cholesterol. Now, what food has to be taken? So for such people, food has to be low fat. Now, low fat means that, people already, assume that low fat means I'm cooking in less oil. Now that oil plays a very important role. Now, which oil you are using, that is very important. When I say which oil, so there are especially for the Indian cooking, because what happens when we talk about oil, immediately people jump saying that, I have olive oil, I have this oil, that oil. But the thing is, whatever is local, because for the Indian cuisine, olive oil or some other, avocado oil, these oils are not going to be good, especially because we are not living in a region like that. Secondly, our cuisine is not going to, that will not give a good taste to our Indian food. So when we talk, for people who are suffering from cholesterol, high cholesterol, make sure number one, the diet is low fat. Secondly, which oil you are using. When I say which oil, it has to be either sesame oil. If you belong to South India, it's either sesame oil or coconut oil. If you belong to Bengal or Bihar, it has to be mustard oil. If you are from West Maharashtra or Gujarat, then you go for the peanut oil. That is the groundnut oil. Now, another important aspect attached to it is never ever go for refined oil, because refined oil is very harmful. It contains a particular petroleum product which is used to clean the oil, that is hexane. So this is a very deep topic. I'm not going, discussing in deep, but the moral of the story is do not go for the refined oil. You go for just filtered oil, because it's just consumer awareness thing. Look at the product, the packet. There you will be seeing, you can see filtered oil, refined oil. So always go for filtered oil, and the best option is cold pressed oil. Though cold pressed oil is expensive, but that's the best thing which can be done. And these are, few things, include a lot of fresh vegetables and fruits in your diet, all types of nuts and seeds. Okay, it can be any type of nuts, all types of seeds like sunflower seed, flax seeds, all these things. These are very good for reducing bad cholesterol. Yeah, Darshana ji,
So the
next
next
question.
question is when do we have sprouts? And I think the time, it means the time of the day, or can they have it raw or cooked sprouts? So I
Yes,
think regarding sprouts, there is a question.
sprouts, you can have it either for the breakfast or lunch. Eating raw sprouts is much better, but suppose if you are not able to digest raw sprout, or if you're not able to chew raw sprout, in that case, just take 1 teaspoon of ghee, saute it in ghee, and you can just for 1 minute and you can have this.
So another question is we are using millet rice and instead of the regular rice, which is keeping us healthy well over the past 4 years, and we make snacks also out of it. So is this a right practice? Millets
Millets,
rice.
millets, right? It's
Millets rice. Millets rice.
millets. Millets is something, millets like barnyard millet and all these millets, ragi and bajra and jawar and all, those are millets. Now, millet rice, are you talking about sama rice or sama rice, which we call it as? I didn't get the question.
Yeah, so this question I have to trace who has asked because I was noting
Okay.
down all the questions. So we can go to the next question,
Okay.
I think, till then. Meanwhile, I'll search who had posted so we can
Yeah.
ask that person. How much
Okay.
water to drink in a day? And second question related to that, whether milk is good or not. So both
Okay.
together you can.
Okay. Now, both questions are very good. How to drink, how much to, water to drink in a day? Now, this absolutely depends from person to person. So if I can drink 4 liters in a day, doesn't mean that Darshana ji will also drink 4 liters in a day. So it totally depends on you. Only thing is, we need to understand our body. So it's like, somewhere a rough, idea is given that in summer season, somewhere it has to be between 1 to 2.5 liters. Okay, in it's like the range is between 1 to 2.5 liters for the summer season. Whereas for winter and monsoon, it said that 1 liter or less than 1 liter is also enough. So totally depends on the person. And the second question was about milk, right? Now milk is something little dicey question, or some kind of is always a kind of I don't know what word to use, but milk is actually good for our health. The only problem with milk is there is something called as A1 and A2 milk, though I'm not going in detail, just to give a general idea. So whatever milk which we are buying, the commercial milk, any brand which is coming in our house, that is called as A1 milk, which means it has A1 protein. A1 means it has something called casein. Now this casein is going to be a little problematic for people who are not able to digest it. Whereas in A2 milk, and A2 milk is something, this is a special kind of protein which is actually similar to mother's milk, which is easily digestible. So it's totally upon you. Where if you are able to digest the commercial milk, then fine, you can go for it. If you're not able to digest, then better to switch over to A2 milk, which is a little expensive compared to the normal milk.
Thank you. The next question is when do you do yoga, exercise, pranayam apart from eating and drinking? This is from Mr. Sridhar. Yeah.
So when do we do pranayam and yoga? So the best time to do pranayam and yoga is in the morning. So morning when you get up after having your lemon juice and after going to the washroom, you have emptied your, your motion and all is clear. So after that, the best time is, in the morning to do. Evening time also can be done, but make sure that at least 4 hours you are giving a gap after having your food. But it's better to do it in the morning only.
Okay. So the next question is do we substitute jaggery for sugar?
Jaggery is a good option because refined sugar, which we are buying, it is of no use. Nothing. We are just getting the calories out of it. So jaggery is, we get it in the unrefined form. So that's the best option. And I would also say that, if you want to switch over from refined sugar to some healthier alternatives, number one is jaggery. The only problem with jaggery is during summer season, during hot season, you can't have more of jaggery because it is going to create more heat. The second option, a better option, a good option is you can go for mishri, that is the kadi shakkar or kalkan, which is called in Tamil, the rock ones. So you can just make powder of it. You can make your sweets. You can put it in your chai. You can put it in your lassi. So that is a good option. Yeah.
So you can explain this fennel and mishri ka mishran. How do you make it? Because somebody had asked this to repeat it.
Okay.
So,
So
yeah.
fennel you have to take soft, that is fennel you have to take 1 teaspoon and add a little bit of mishri to it in a glass of water. Just cover it whole night. Next morning, when you get up in the morning, first thing is after brushing your teeth, strain this and drink this. So if you do this for, some days, say for example, 10 or 15 days, to just to see the result, maybe if you need, maybe you might need it for a longer time also. So this will help in a kind of, reducing that kind of, acidity and that bloating and all will be helpful.
Yeah, so next I'm going to unmute Kasi A1. That is how it is on the phone, Mr. or Mrs. Kasi. So yeah, Mr. Kasi. So you can ask your question, sir, since you said you want to ask it yourself. You have to unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, a very good explanation of simple words and very easily understandable. My question is on the mix of fruits. You said that you should not mix fruits. Only one type only you should have at a time. My practice is in the morning, after a cup of warm water, I have one banana. Then I go for my workout, stretches and workout, either Tai Chi or yoga. And then I go for breakfast. Breakfast, I start with a bowl of papaya or watermelon or chickus. Is it considered as a mix of fruits or what?
No, so you are saying either you go for papaya or chiku or watermelon. You're not mixing together, right?
But the banana I had first.
No, that banana you had first in the morning and then you went for the workout. So the workout is, say, for example, half an hour. Or, after the workout, so you're giving some 10-15 minutes time. So there is going to be a gap, right? Half an hour to 1 hour. How much gap is that?
Let me say 7 to 8 is my workout period. Before that, I have that banana. That means after having banana, 1 hour has passed.
Okay. So
Around
we will not consider this as mixing of fruit. Mixing of fruit in the sense, it means that at the same time, you are having 2 to 3 fruits together. So 1 hour you have already given for digestion. So that won't be mixing.
Right. Thank you. And about the salt, you said about the pink salt. I am using a rock salt Himalayan pink, which gives 35 grams of sodium per 100 grams of salt. Is it the one that you referred that I can have? Sodium doesn't exceed if I use this.
No. The question is what? Again, can you please repeat?
It is a rock salt powder, which is called Himalayan pink. And the sodium content is shown as 35 grams per 100 grams of salt. I mean, this 35 grams in 100 grams. That means 30% it is got. Will it exceed the sodium consumption?
No. This will not exceed when you are going for the table salt. That is the refined white salt. That contains more of sodium compared to this pink salt. So this is something a better option.
I don't use the table salt at all.
Madam,
Yeah.
can you please give me 1 minute?
Thank you very much.
Madam, can you give me 1 minute?
Nagambal Lakshman has asked whether we can use castor oil once a week.
That's why if you are having constipation problem, then
Otherwise, not required, right?
no.
I have a question.
Madam,
एक मेरा question भी है. Hello.
Madam,
I request all of you to ask one question at a time because we are running short of time and this will only create confusion. So if we can post it on the chat, I'm asking the questions. We are taking one by one, but it will be difficult to answer all the questions because most of them are related. So I'm just picking up something which is not related to each other's.
Sorry.
Important clarification I want to give.
Hello.
Please, important clarification I want to give.
Madam, one question, madam. Sharda
Only one question at a time. Can you please put it on chat? So in that case, I will be able to ask her. Otherwise, it will be very chaotic and she will not be able to understand. Even I won't be able to understand the questions.
Actually, मैंने chat box में बहुत बार डाला, आपने reply नहीं दिया. Just जानना चाहती हूँ.
All right. May I know your name so I can highlight you? Yeah, Madhu Chauhan.
Yes, please.
Madam, I cannot able to.
Please. Yeah. So can you switch on your video so we can see what you are asking? Can you switch on your video, please?
Sorry,
I need to spot.
ऐसे बैठी हूँ थोड़ा, सॉरी।
अच्छा ठीक है, आप पूछ लीजिए, चलिए एवरीबडी प्लीज मेंटेन साइलेंस।
एक क्वेश्चन पूछना है कि जैसे मैं गिलोय की टेबलेट्स खाती हूँ डेली, तो मैं फ्रेश नहीं खाती, तो उतना उतना इफेक्टिव है कि नहीं? जस्ट ये सिंपल क्वेश्चन है मेरा बस।
यस, गिलोय का टैबलेट भी इफेक्टिव है, क्योंकि ये पॉसिबल नहीं है हर एक के लिए प्लांट ला के घर में लगा के उसकी चाय बनाना, तो गिलोय टैबलेट इजी है तो
हाँ,
है।
यही
Hello.
question।
Yeah,
हाँ,
and just one
thank you
thing,
so much.
yeah, I just saw a question on sleep problem, Darshana ji, just now I saw. So I would just quickly, want to tell about this. So if some of you are having sleep problems, are not able to sleep at night.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am,
So I request everyone to be on mute. She's answering one question regarding sleep. So the next question we will take.
Hello.
Yeah, I
Hello.
want to. Yeah, Bhavani, you'll have to unmute yourself, and we'll pick up that question on sleep. I think many people have asked on sleep, so we can. You can answer that question, and next person can then unmute and ask. You have to unmute, Bhavani.
Host is not allowed. Can
Yeah,
you-
now we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, okay. ठीक है.
Hello.
So I'll just quickly answer to this question. Sleep problem, because a lot of people have this problem, especially during this pandemic period. So one very good way of getting a natural way to get sleep is you must be aware of poppy seeds, which is in Hindi we call it as khaskhas. In Bengali it is called as poshodana. So poppy seeds are very small. Just get those poppy seeds. And remember the amount which I'm sharing, don't exceed that amount. You have to just take 1 teaspoon. Teaspoon means it's teaspoon. Just take 1 teaspoon, and poppy seed contains a particular compound called opium. That opium is a sedative. So rather than going for sleeping pills, just take 1 teaspoon of poppy seeds, soak it in water for half an hour. Now this you cannot churn it in mixer because the quantity is very less. So maybe if you have that stone kind or something, you make a paste and add this paste to a glass of warm milk. Before going to bed, you take this. So 10-15 days you do this. So slowly, automatically, your sleep pattern will change. You will get very good amount of sleep, and then slowly you can stop having this. That's one easiest way to get good sleep. Yeah, Darshana, one last question.
Yeah, thank you. I'll mix two questions. How many fruits can a diabetic person can take, and whether we can have curd at night? So I think these are the last two questions we are taking, and I request everyone to remain muted. We are sorry. We tried to take as many questions as possible, but I think time always flies. When we are together, and these will be the two last questions for the day. Thank you so much, and kindly remain muted while Bhavani gives answers to these questions. Thank you so much.
So one is curd can't be taken at night, though I know South Indians have this habit of having curd at night. But the thing is, curd is something which will aggravate your vata problem. So that's the reason why it's better not to have curd at night. And one more question was, Darshana, sorry,
how many fruits can a diabetic person take?
Now, when it comes to diabetic, fruit can be taken in smaller amounts. Even mangoes and even bananas can be taken by a diabetic, but only thing is the quantity matters. So in a day, say a small serving of fruit. Say if it is apple, one full apple diabetic can take. If it's a mango, then just a small piece of half mango can be taken. Elaichi banana, that is a small banana, one banana can be taken. So basically, all the fruits can be, and especially watermelon and muskmelon, can be taken in good quantity. So for diabetics, it's not that it's kind of fear that I should not be taking this because it has more of glucose content in it, but it can be taken by them. Okay. So and before just one more thing I would like to add before we end up the session. So a lot of people have joined. First thing is thank you so much for your patience and listening to me. And secondly, I request all of you to subscribe to my YouTube channel because you will get a lot of recipes and a lot of informative videos wherein I have completely, the complete detailed video on the difference between salt and sodium I have posted. So it's Akanksha, AAKNKSHA, Akanksha Desire for Wellness. I'll also share the media links with Darshana. She can post it in your group and follow me on Instagram and like my page on Facebook. And thank you all for joining. Yeah, Darshana, over to you.
Thank you so much for a lovely session. I request Mr. Pillai to give a vote of thanks to our guest speaker who has really educated us on the food and nutrition today. So over to you, Mr. Pillai. You will have to unmute yourself.
Good evening, madam. Am I clear?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Good evening, madam. Good evening to everybody. In fact, on behalf of Dignity Foundation and all these viewers, I thank Bhavani madam for a nice 1.5 hours session. Although most of us are senior citizens and during this pandemic time, it's almost full-time job for eating and sedentary type of lifestyle. But you have given us a complete full day diet plan, as well as do's and don'ts and immunity, how to improve your immunity, and so many small tips you have given. Most of them are easy to follow. I don't think it should be difficult for any of us. It is slight adjustment in our day-to-day eating habits has to be made. Very nice, and thank you very much for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pillai. So our session ends.